Imagine standing among the ruins of Rome, the broken marble, the silent columns. The echoes of footsteps long vanished, fading under the whisper of time. Now imagine those ruins alive again, the air filled with the sound of hammers striking bronze, senators arguing in marble halls, and the deep chorus of legion drums rolling through the streets. The Colosseum is not a ruin. It's still filled with thousands of citizens. The aqueducts still carry water to distant provinces, and the roads of Rome still stretch across the world, glowing with the fire of eternal civilization. This is not the past. This is the world where the Roman Empire never fell. The year is 395. Emperor Theodosius has died, and in our history the empire split into East and West, a division that slowly bled it to death. But in this timeline, a single event changes everything. A man rises, Flavius Aurelius Maximus, a general, philosopher, and reformer. He refuses to divide the empire. He unites it under one rule, one vision, one Rome. He ends corruption in the Senate. He builds a new army drawn not only from Rome, but from the provinces, from Egypt, from Gaul, from Africa, from Britannia. He reforms the laws so that every free man, regardless of race or origin, can rise through merit. Trade with the East explodes. The empire partners with Persia instead of fighting it. Roman coins fill markets from the Nile to the Indus. The barbarians who once threatened the borders are not destroyed. They are absorbed. The Goths become Roman generals. The Franks become Roman citizens. The empire learns to adapt, and in that adaptation it becomes unstoppable. By the year 500, the Roman Empire is reborn, stronger, smarter, united. Centuries pass. The Roman world flourishes under what historians would later call the Second Pax Romana, 1,000 years of peace. The capital moves to Byzantium, renamed Nova Roma. It becomes the shining heart of civilization, a city of marble towers, domes of gold, and gardens that stretch for miles. The streets are lit by oil lamps made from glass, and every district hums with scholars, merchants, and philosophers. Knowledge that was lost in our timeline, preserved and expanded. The works of Aristotle, Euclid, and Archimedes are taught beside new Roman discoveries. The first Roman steam engines begin to power mills and ships. The legions travel faster, supplied by an empire of invention. While the rest of our real world sank into the Dark Ages, this Rome entered an age of light. Science, medicine, architecture, all advanced centuries ahead. By the year 800, Roman engineers discover a way to create pressure-driven machines, early engines that would have astonished Leonardo da Vinci himself. Roman ships powered by steam cross the Mediterranean. Massive trade ports connect Africa, Asia, and Europe in a network of endless prosperity. In this world, the Renaissance never had to wait. It began early, and it never ended. In the 11th century, Rome builds its first flying machines, gliders of silk and bronze wings. By the 12th, they master electricity through experimentation with amber and iron. By the 13th, the first Roman telescopes reveal the moons of Jupiter. Every new discovery fuels the empire's sense of destiny. Rome begins to see itself not just as a nation, but as the custodian of human progress. By the year 1400, the empire spans 3 continents. Every province is connected by vast roads and magnetic rail lines. Messages move instantly across continents through light and sound, the first form of long-distance communication. The Roman Senate rules not as conquerors, but as stewards of humanity. The legions still march, but now their mission is order, peace, and the spread of civilization. And then came the New World. In our timeline, Columbus sailed in 1492. But here, Roman explorers reached the western lands in the 12th century. The banners of the eagle rise over mountains, jungles, and rivers unknown to our history. Cities of marble rise on the coasts of the Americas, built by Roman engineers and local allies. The empire learns from the native peoples and merges their knowledge into its own. Rome becomes a global civilization, stretching from Britannia to the Pacific. Its flag flies over the world, bearing 2 words: Roma Eterna, the eternal Rome. By the year 1700, the world speaks one language. Latin evolves into a modern, poetic, living form, the language of law, science, and poetry. No borders divide nations. No wars tear apart continents. The world is one, under the Senate of Earth. But not all is perfect. For centuries, peace has made people forget struggle, and without struggle, invention begins to slow. Without chaos, there is no creativity. Without rebellion, there is no freedom. Rome's unity becomes its prison. The Senate approves every invention. Every piece of art must honor the empire. Every religion must align with the state. Those who question the order vanish quietly into the shadows. The empire calls it harmony, but others begin to call it silence. By the year 1800, a new movement rises. The free thinkers, artists, scientists, and philosophers who reject the Senate's control. They gather in secret beneath the marble streets, reading forbidden texts, the lost philosophies of freedom and individuality. One name echoes through the underground halls: Lucius Terran, a philosopher who dares to write the words that no one else will. He says, "Rome has conquered the world but lost its soul." His writings ignite a quiet revolution of the mind. The legions try to silence it, but ideas once born cannot be killed. By the dawn of the 20th century, rebellion sweeps the world. Not with weapons, but with words, with art, with imagination. The year is 1900. In our world, this was the age of industry, of nations, of war. But in this timeline, the eternal empire still stands, though its marble is cracked. Massive cities stretch from Carthage to Britannia, from Alexandria to Mexico. Trains glide silently on magnetic rails. Airships shaped like eagles float above the clouds. Roman engineers begin constructing cities under the seas. The empire has reached beyond the earth, launching vessels into the stars. They call them Aquilae Caeli, the eagles of heaven. In 1969, while our world watched the Americans land on the moon, the Romans of this world built a colony there, Colonia Luna. And from its surface, the imperial banner still waves in the silence of space. Today, in this world, the Roman Empire still rules. 2,000 years of continuous civilization, the same Senate, the same flag, the same dream. The world is peaceful. There is no poverty, no hunger, no nations. And yet, beneath the marble beauty, there is emptiness, a perfection that feels hollow. Because when everything is controlled, nothing is truly alive. A young poet in modern Rome writes, "Eternity without change is not life, it is a monument." And maybe that's what Rome has become, a monument to order, a temple to control, a paradise without freedom. But think about it. If Rome never fell, if the empire continued to this day, you might be living under its laws right now. You would be speaking a version of Latin. You would salute the emperor on your digital screen. The internet might be called Rete Imperialis. Your city might still bear its Roman name. New York would be Nova Eboracum, London still Londinium, Paris, Lutetia. Every continent connected by shining Roman highways and orbital satellites. Every home powered by technologies born from the same Roman curiosity that built the first aqueducts. Your identity, your job, your religion, all shaped by the unbroken hand of Rome. Would it be heaven? Or would it be a cage? Maybe the fall of Rome, tragic and brutal as it was, was necessary. Because when it fell, humanity scattered. And from those scattered stones, new civilizations rose, each with their own dreams, their own voices, their own visions of freedom. The fall of Rome allowed humanity to grow apart, and in doing so, to grow stronger. It gave us diversity, innovation, chaos, and creativity. It gave us choice. And yet, when you look around our world, our governments, our architecture, our languages, you still see Rome everywhere. Her laws shape our justice. Her art shapes our beauty. Her words live in our tongues. Her spirit breathes in our ambition. Rome never truly died. It simply evolved into us. So what if the Roman Empire never fell? Maybe it didn't. maybe, in some way, it still stands. Not in marble or in armies, but in our cities, in our systems, in our minds, in our endless desire to build something that lasts forever. Because Rome was never just a place, it was an idea, and ideas never fall. History remembers what was lost. Imagination reveals what could have been. This was What If the Roman Empire Never Fell? You're watching Calm History. Subscribe and journey with us into the worlds that could have been.